What it do, y'all? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, and I'm showcasing y'all an update on one of my favorite decks. This is a very underestimated and underrated deck. It's an archetype that just immediately became rogue the second it came out. It is Lyruliscs. Lyruliscs are such a beast link format because they don't really need to spam from the extra deck if they don't want to. They actually have the ability to. They really can. And another cool thing is I chose not to run link monsters in my extra deck because my main focus is summoning this one monster anyways. So it's a really overpowered deck. And my Lyrulisc deck is probably the most innovative that you will find on YouTube. There's just no build like mine. It's focused on so many different things. Of course, it's a Lyrulisc Relinquished deck, like you guys saw in the first deck profile. I run Relinquished because I think he's so awesome. He's the oldest ritual. He's like the first ritual. If I'm not mistaken, he's like the oldest ritual ever in the game. And you know, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is Team King of Games, so we like to bring OG style. And also, it's focused on Number Archive Turbo to get out the 7 deadly sins. So it's just really broken. Like, there's so many alternative win conditions even without her. In the future, I may incorporate link monsters, but I just felt that I don't know, I just don't want to do it. This was the reason why I built this deck originally, was to compete in the link format without link monsters and to dominate people. Because I wanted to show you guys that you don't need link monsters to win. And if you do have link monsters, you know, it's gonna speed you up. The game's not gonna slow down. So let's hop right into this deck profile without further ado. I'm playing 3 copies of Relinquished. He is basically the boss monster of my deck, of my main deck, and the boss monster of my extra deck is obviously this chick right here, Independent Nightingale. But we're running 3 Relinquished. His effect is so OP. People have slept on him for so long. Like, it's just like so unorthodox. Like, you just catch people off guard out of nowhere. Drop a Relinquish, take your monster, overlay with Relinquish into another one. Your monster is gone now. It's a way to destroy a monster that could never be destroyed, basically. That's like one of my favorite combos. I use a Relinquish and take one of the monsters that was a problem for me to begin with. I know that Masterpiece would be unaffected by monsters. Don't even say that. Don't be that condescending douchebag. But Relinquish, take the monster, overlay Relinquish with this chick. The equip would be destroyed because Relinquish is no longer on the field. So it just completely gets rid of the card. And he's also level 1, which helps you to go into your rank 1s. And he just lets you play main deck beatdown because he can take on the stats of any monster he takes. If he takes a huge beat stick, for example, Blue Eyes, he's now a 3k beat stick. He can attack for 3,000 if he wants to, which is really broken. So 3 Relinquished, just so broken. And I just wanted to play a deck focused on Relinquished because I love Relinquished. And now I have a deck that's really good with Relinquished, and he has a lot of synergy for the combos. Good camera angle. Yep. So 3 Relinquished. Moving forward to the Lyrulisc, I played 3 copies of Cutie Booty. I nicknamed her Cutie Booty. She's my favorite of all the Lyrulisc. Now they all are cute to me. I love their artwork. But she's the most broken because basically, if you control no monsters, you can special summon her, and then after that, you can special summon the Lyrulisc from your hand or your graveyard. But if you have one engraved, she's basically a 1-card play. And she's not even a 1-card play, she's a 0-card play because when you use her effect and special summon Cobalt Sparrow from your graveyard, you search, so that 1 card you use pays for itself. So you can have 5 cards in hand or 6 cards in hand, right? You have 6 cards in hand, use her effect and still have 6 cards in hand afterwards. So you just make a free rank 1, which I just love her. So she's free most of the time. And it's whenever she's special summoned, so you don't even have to use her effect when you control no monsters. You can find other ways to special summon her with the other Lyrulisc or even Yugioh. Because Yugioh is a spirit monster that lets you special summon any level 1 monster from your grave. So you can Yugioh combo, special her from grave, use her effect, special another from grave, and then you'll special Cobalt Sparrow, and you'll basically get 3 monsters for the price of none, which is really broken. Lyrulisc are awesome, and I love the way this deck combos off, and I figured out so many crazy combos that only work with the cards that I run, so it's not really a combo that most people could do. It's just pertaining to my build. So I've discovered some new stuff for this archetype. For those of you who are a Lyrulisc fan, this is something for you. And of course, Relinquish, you have to, because Rituals are my favorite monsters. I love Rituals so much. 3, I'm basically calling her Bald Eagle. I know that she's a sparrow, so please don't say that. But I call her Bald Eagle because she just, I don't know, she looks bald-headed to me. But I wanted to nickname everything, so we're playing 3 copies of Bald Eagle. But her actual name is Cobalt Sparrow. Now, her effect, when she special summon, you can add any level 1 wing beast from your deck to your hand. So if you want to play Black Wings, you know, the level 1s, you can actually play Black Wing Lyrulisc and she'll be your searcher for those. So it's just food for thought. She searches anything that's a level 1 winged beast, not only a Lyrulisc. And as an XYZ material, the XYZ monster that has her gains this effect. Your opponent cannot target it with card effects. No masterpiece pop. No true king's return pop. Basically, true Dracos have to attack over it now. And the clutch thing is, it's always going to be a symbol Nightingale, and she'll never ever be able to be destroyed by battle. So that's just really, really broken. You have excellent matchups basically against everything, because this deck is so unorthodox and people don't side deck for it either. You can make huge boss monsters that are level 1, or you can make this chick like a level 6, and then you have to kaiju her now, and that's it. So the deck's broken, man. But she's just basically the Stratos of the deck, but you have to special summon her to get her effect off. So she's the most dead in hand. She's the most dead in hand. But you have to play 3. And 3 of my least favorite is actually Sapphire Swallow, which aka we just call her Sapphire. Now she is kind of broken, but I think there really needs to be more Lyrulisc in this deck. Like, Konami needs to do something and create 2 more Lyrulisc monsters so we can have a count of 15 instead of 9. Because right now we have 3 Lyrulisc at 3. But basically, you're going to need a Lyrulisc monster on the field and also a Lyrulisc monster in your hand in addition to her. So you're going to need 3. Or you can have the XYZ. But basically, if you control a winged beast monster, you can special summon her from the hand and also special summon a level 1 winged beast monster from your hand. I love that they synergize with level 1 winged beast. So if you want to do something funky, you can run, just some clutch, spicy level 1 winged beast monsters. There's not very many out, but there are. And dang, did it go off on me? Whoops, I'm sorry, you guys. My bad. The lighting went off in my video, so I thought my video cut off, but it didn't. But you can run some spicy level 1 winged beasts, and it'll synergize so well with this deck. But basically, you have to have a Lyrulisc in your hand to use her effect, because when you special summon her, she has to. You have no choice. You have to special summon another one from your hand, which can be good and bad. So she'll combo well like with your Cobalt Sparrow or your Warbler, because when you special summon them, you'll trigger their effects. But basically, her effect is to special summon herself and another from hand, so you lose 2 cards from hand to do it. And also, when she's used as an XYZ material, you can the monster that you use for an XYZ material, it basically, it's going to be the symbol Nightingale most of the time, but when it's XYZ summoned, you can target a Lyrulisc monster in your graveyard, attach it to that monster as a material. So the more XYZ materials you give her, the better, because if you're going to fuse for Independent Nightingale, you're going to make it even more powerful. And if not, you basically can stall for that many turns. Which is really cool. And sometimes I've summoned this chick with 6 materials, giving her an attack of 1200, because she gains 200 attack for each XYZ material that she has, and she can attack that number of times. She can actually attack for 1200 6 times, which is pretty devastating. Or even if you have her with 5 materials, she'll be at 1000 attack, and you can attack directly 5 times for 1000, so 5000 direct. So basically, keeping her with those materials means that you have 2 turns to live. So it's really broken. But yeah, that sums up the Lyrulisc portion of the deck. Continuing with basically some spicy text and also some really, really lit cards that flow well with level 1s. 3 copies of Yugioh. I feel like this should just be a staple. I've noticed a lot of Lyrulisc decks just don't run this. I haven't even seen one that runs it. But 3 Yugioh. He's basically a spirit monster that monster reborns your Lyrulisc. He targets a level 1 monster in your grave and special summons it. Most of the time I use it on my cutie booty, because when she's special summoned, she brings another one from grave. So one of my favorite combos in this deck is to just normal summon Yugioh, Yugioh's effect, special summon Cutie Booty, Cutie Booty's effect, special summon Cobalt Sparrow from grave, Cobalt Sparrow's effect, search for another Cutie Booty. She's my favorite one. I always search for her. And now that one Yugioh has not only paid for itself by searching, but it's going to go back to your hand on end phase. So you'll end on a +1. I repeat, +1. Broken. Really, really cool. So that's just one of the combos you can do with him, but he's basically just Monster Reborn for everything. In tandem with him, I play 2 copies of Mystic Piper. Mystic Piper has such great synergy, obviously, because almost all of your monsters are level 1s. And after you tribute Mystic Piper to +1 and draw 2, you're going to normal summon your Yugioh next turn, special summon Mystic Piper, do the same thing, draw 2. So it just maintains your consistent field and hand presence at the same time. Great card economy. So these 5 are just great staples. I feel like they're supposed to be ran in Lyrulisc. You could call this Lyrulisc Mystic Piper Relinquished 7 Cents Turbo. I don't know how to name the deck because there's so much that it does in so many different ways for it to get game. One big one warrior. This guy is broken. You guys have been sleeping on him, and I finally found a deck where I can run him. I love him. I used to run him in my Synchron deck. Back in the day, you know, I played Yu-Gi-Oh since 2001. Back in the day when I used to run Synchrons, before the new Synchrons, the old school Synchrons. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. 5D era, you know, when Stardust was a freaking staple, and Gale of the Blackwings ended up getting hit on the ban list because he just attacked over Stardust. This guy, I ran him in my my Synchrons because it was so great for the combos, and he just basically gave me a free monster on the field, and then dump fodder for my Junk Synchron so I can normal summon Junk Synchron, special summon the monster back that you ditched. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I just love this card so much, and I finally got a deck where I can play that he'd actually be good in. So one big one warrior. He's just clutch. He's a level 1, free XYZs. And he also sets up your combo for this chick, for Cutie Booty, so that you can discard, you know, your Cobalt Sparrow. Like, for example, this is a really cool combo right here. If you have these chicks in grave, or if you just have a Cutie Booty, you can use Big One Warrior, discard Cobalt Sparrow to the grave to special summon her, normal summon Kinkibo, bring her back. You now have 4 on field, search, in phase bounce. Oh, it's just so good. This deck is broken. I love the way it flows. Now next up is cock blockers. And I mean cock blockers, for real. You're never gonna OTK me. 3 copies of Battle Fader, 2 copies of Swift Scarecrow. They are level 1, so they synergize with Mystic Piper. And a Battle Fader comes to the field, so you can overlay it for rank 1s. And if you have a really, really awkward hand, you sometimes use him as a level 1 just to XYZ. But 2 Swift Scarecrows, 3 Battle Faders, 1 Tragodia, and 1 Gores. Now, Tragodia is at 3, and I do have extra copies of Tragodia if I choose to run them, but I just really wanted to just play some hand traps that aren't like the standard, you know, Ghost Ash and Ghost Ogre. These, back in the day, especially when Mermails was the thing, Mermails were such a powerful OTK deck that everybody ran 3 Gores so that they can drop Gores and stop the OTK from Mermails. Now, these are just such powerful hand traps. You drop them and make sure your opponent can't kill you now. And Tragodia can actually change himself to a level 1. Gores will just basically be a 2700 beat stick on the field, just sitting there, like, what's up? But yeah, so these are basically my battle phase hand traps. Those are the only hand traps I wanted to run in this deck because basically this deck really just needs 1 turn to go off. So if I can stop my opponent for 1 turn, I get my 1 turn to go off, like I just said. So I'm playing 7 battle phase hand traps. More innovation, you know, more spiciness. You guys know I do my deck so creative that nobody could ever jock my style because nobody thinks like me. 3 copies of Handy Manny to search out your Relinquished. Funny thing, if you have Relinquished or his ritual spell and you have Mandy, you literally have Relinquished. For example, let's say you have Relinquished in hand, normal Handy Manny, search his ritual spell, activate it, tribute Manny, summon Relinquished. So having Handy Manny and either Relinquish or his ritual spell is instant Relinquished. It's really simple because you can tribute anything, like anything to summon him. He's a level 1 and it doesn't have to be exactly level 1 or that would be gay. So 3 copies of Handy Manny because he just helps you to increase your ceiling and get closer to Relinquished. You don't have to play him, I just choose to. And 2 copies of King of the Swamp because polymerization is very important in this deck. And basically my deck is focused on so many different things. I just have so many alternative win conditions. But I want to run a lot of cards in my deck to get me to certain things. She is probably the most broken monster right now in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! She fixes the problem that monsters that were unaffected by card effects had to begin with, is that you can attack over them. You can give her as much attack as you want. I've made this chick at 5,000. Like, yo, it's just so stupid. I think Utopia the Lightning would be the only thing that can get over her then, and you would have to crash. But basically, she's unaffected by card effects, naturally, and she'll gain attack based on how you make her. And how you make her is by using your Lyrulisc, assembled Nightingale, and another Lyrulisc, or even King of the Swamps, because you can substitute him. Which is really cool, because if you like dead draw 2 King of the Swamps, you can poly fusing these 2, and your assembled Nightingale with whatever materials it had, just to summon her and make her more powerful. So it's really cool. But anyways, 2 King of the Swamps to search the poly and to be the substitute for fusions. So I just really like him. He's a great spicy tech. We're also playing 3 pre-preps, my favorite spell in the game, and 1 prep, just to increase your ceiling. So we're playing the 4 preps. More ways to get to Relinquish, and the plussing is insane. You know, you plus pretty good in this deck. It's really consistent. I like how it flows. 3 copies of Black Illusion Ritual. I've looked really hard to find super rares. I love this because it just says tribute monsters whose levels equal or exceed. So you can tribute a level 12 to summon Relinquished. It's just really good. 2 copies of Polly. Obviously, I'm running her and I want to summon her. And 2 instant ramens. Instant Fusion is to either special summon her and she won't die because he's unaffected, or to bring out Restrict and Relinquish. I just like the Restrict Relinquish combo because you go Relinquish, take a monster, Thousand Eyes Restrict, take a monster, overlay both of them into a assembled Nightingale. It's just so good. It's so broken. And you don't disobey the link format rulings because Relinquish is a ritual monster. And this one guy will get overlaid and you'll still control the one from your extra deck. So double Instant Fusion and 1 for 1. Everything is basically level 1s except for, you know, the good stuff that I showed you guys. The Gore's Tragodia and the Handymanis and the King of Swamps. But I have to run them for this build. That sums up the deck profile. That sums up the main deck. It's so lit. Moving forward to the extra deck, we're playing 3 copies of Independent Nightingale. She is independent. She wins by herself. Her other effect I didn't tell you is, based on her level, you can burn your opponent for 500. So, for example, let's say I made her as a level 5. I made her with 5, so she'll gain 5 stars, so she'll be a level 6. You can activate her effect to inflict 3,000 damage to your opponent, and you can just sit on her. Like, if you don't want to play the chances of, you know, losing her, you can just sit on her and just keep burning your opponent to death. And it's like, there's 2 ways to get over this shit. Kaiju is the obvious one, and Utopia the Lightning. Now, if you don't main deck Kaijus, and you don't have access to rank 4s in your deck, for example, Pure True Dracos, what are you going to do? Nothing. You can't do anything. And even if you're playing a deck that, you know, for example, just a deck that doesn't make rank 4s, which, you know, there's a lot of decks that make rank 4s. Let's say you're playing Links, right? Pure Links, like World Chalice, they don't have any rank 4s. They can't make rank 4s. So they're going to have to main deck Kaijus. And obviously they don't main deck Kaijus, so they'll never actually get over her. I played a lot of my friends with this deck, and, like, they just can't get over her. Because obviously most of my homies don't main deck Kaijus, and a lot of their decks are different. Like, I play, you know, Cosmos. My homie plays Cosmos, and then, you know, I play like Prediction Princess Subterra's, and they can't really make a lightning. So it's hard to kill her, bro. She's invincible sometimes, and the way you make her is basically gonna determine whether she lives or not. But she's the win condition of the deck simply because she's just, there's those only 2 ways to kill her: attack over her or Kaiju. But you're gonna have to use lightning because you can actually make this chick at 5,000 attack, which means lightning's just gonna have to crash because she can be destroyed by battle. The final fusion is actually Thousand Eyes Restrict for the instant fusion combo that I told you guys about. That sums up the fusions. Next up, we played 3 assembled Nightingale. She's so broken. I've literally stalled for time and just won because of her. Because she makes it so you can't take any damage, battle damage, or effect damage, which is broken. Like, she's such a great card going into time. She can attack directly, like, so stupid. And she can make it so that she can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects or battle, which is just so broken. 3 assembled Nightingale. For the turbo part that I told you guys about, I'm running 2 7 Sins and 2 Pain Gainers. It could have been 3 7 Sins, but I wanted to do the 2 7 Sins and 2 Pain Gainers. Because both their effects are broken, and I prefer 7 Sins. But if I get Pain Gainer and he lives, I can just overlay 7 Sins on top of him. Of course, if he lives next turn, because when you use, after you resolve number archive, you can't, like, XYZ again, obviously. But I'm also playing 1 number archive. It's so easy to make in this deck. You use his effect, play the gamble of your opponent picking 4. And this deck does go through the extra deck pretty heavily. It doesn't spam, you know, controlling multiples because we don't run links, but it just burns through the extra deck really fast. So the smaller your extra deck becomes, the more often this combo resolves where you summon 7 Sins and just, like, banish everything and kill your opponent. And even if you're playing True Dracos and you can't banish anything, they can't pop him. Like, every time they try to pop, he'll detach. Masterpiece just can't get over him. It's just so good. Really, really like him. They need the assistance from True Draco Apocalypse to half his attack. And then, you know, they'll try to attack over him. He'll still detach to save himself. Because he has that Misstroke / Silent Honor effect where if he would be destroyed, you detach instead. Which is a continuous effect that does not activate, so you can't change strike and negate it. Really, really clutch. So this is my number archive package. It's just something that's really cool. I also play Embodiment of Crime and Punishment because they're just such a clutch combo. Now, you can't actually get these 2 out on the field the way I'm playing my deck, but I still like having them because you can number archive or just bring them out by yourself. And the main thing is you want to force your opponent to attack or just switch your